So Ali's joining us today. He's the CEO of the Gym's Cleaning Group. But in particular, I want to get you on to talk about the car detailing division because it's past 200 franchisees. It's one of the biggest divisions now, and it wasn't always that case. But now it's grown really, really rapidly over the last couple of years, and that's obviously due to your leadership and your team's leadership in there. So let's just first of all talk about the Gym's car detailing division itself and what's been the reason for its growth in the most recent years.
Well, that's thanks, Joel. Thanks for having us. And the growth of the car detailing really started during the COVID times. So I think we hit 100 franchisee after COVID, and since then, in the last 3 years, we've actually doubled our numbers. Majority of our franchisees actually come from all sorts of backgrounds, so they don't really come from a car detailing industry. But the reason for the growth, I believe, is the amount of excess work we have in a lot of the regions. So we had thousands of unserved work, which is which was a huge concern for us, and that's been obviously fixed with the extra franchisees that we have on board.
And based on the numbers you said, not just in gyms, it'd probably be one of the fastest growing franchises in the country, like based on literally the number of growth. So
Yes.
how have you been able to generate so much work in the division?
Advertising.
Yeah.
So we've spent a lot of resources on our website. We do a lot of SEO. We do a lot of Google My Business. We have probably the best website in the country. It's called cardetailing.com.au. So we get a lot of traffic, organic traffic there as well, which obviously generates the additional leads. We do a lot of social media, Facebook, and car detailing is one of those industries where the results can be seen straight away. And one thing that we've been focused on this year was, I should say in the last 12 months, was ceramic coating. So we've actually partnered up with a company called Naziol, where it's a European brand. It's one of the largest manufacturers with ceramic coating. So we became distributors for them, which obviously helps us with group buying power, and the product is unreal.
And when you say ceramic coating, so for the layperson like myself and others maybe watching, what is ceramic coating and what's the benefit for using it?
So ceramic coating is actually, there's a lot of different brands, and it's one of those things that's been around for a while, but it's getting really popular now. It's like an invisible layer on top of your car paint, and ideally it protects you and gives you enough time for any bird droppings or UV or pretty much anything to protect the paint. A lot of the ceramic coatings come with 3 or 5 year warranties these days. And you can just see after it's been applied, you can just see the water bead off, and it actually helps with when you're washing the car as well.
Yeah, for people that don't know, if you see those cars driving around, they always look clean, or they always look like, how's that car's paint look a lot brighter than mine? And they've got the same vehicle. It's probably due to the
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the most important part about ceramic coating is actually one step before. It's the preparation of the paintwork. So our franchisees are well trained enough to do what we call paint correction, and depending on the car and the color and how old the car is, they may need a bit more preparation before applying the ceramic coating. And once you apply the ceramic coating, ideally, if you maintain it, it should last you at least minimum 3 years.
The beauty of you guys is obviously you can come to the person's location. There's no need to take you into a workshop and leave your car. It can be done pretty much within a day at your convenience.
Yeah. So we come to you. So all our franchisees are mobile. When we're applying ceramic coating, ideally we want to be in a closed area so there's no dust or wind. But yes, we would like to do it at a garage and undercover.
Now, I've been seeing some franchisees post photos online. It's not just cars. I've seen planes. I've seen someone in a hang-up doing some planes. I've seen boats. I saw a big even mine truck somewhere. So I'm just talking about it's not just cars. It's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the beauty about car detailing. We're called Gym's Car Detailing, but we do a lot more. Obviously, majority of our customers are cars, but we do buses, trucks. We did motorbikes. We did forklifts. We did, like you said, jets, and we've done helicopters, boats. The list goes on. So pretty much any vehicle we can detail. We've got franchisees that's often at Essendon Airport, detailing private jets, which is...
that's the one I saw. I saw that photo. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I was going to say as well, not only that, they can do... I know I've heard of franchisees doing big fleets, like they do fleets, or they might get a contract to do the local car dealership or something like that. Can do some...
So our customers vary from, everyday mum and dad or or pretty much just a single car, to we have offices where they go and do 6 cars, 8 cars, maybe more in some cases. In some cases, we have commercial customers where real estates where their cars need to look clean.
Yep.
Then we have those fleets with larger 30, 40, 50 vehicles. We do a lot of work with leasing companies as well. We do a lot of work for handy rentals for Bunnings. So all their utes actually get detailed by gyms.
There you go.
And that's actually a funny story. That came as just a basic wash as a lead in Perth about 5 years ago. So one of the rentals in Bunnings, they came back really dirty and they called gyms. So the franchisee did a job and the store manager was so happy with the result. He said, "Can you come back once a month?" And while he was doing that one store once a month, I think the area manager was in there and he saw they loved it. So he started doing all of Perth. Before we knew it, we get a call saying, "Can you do this, replicate this nationally?" And this year we also started doing New Zealand for him.
There you go.
So from one lead.
One lead.
So a $15 lead, it turned into pretty much hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work for all, hundreds of franchisees.
And the great thing as well, obviously we have the national coverage. You have the national coverage to do it. I think there'd be no one else who could probably do that as well.
That was our pretty much the power that we had. The footprint that we had was. They said, "Can you cover Darwin?" We said, "Yes." "Can you cover Melbourne, Sydney, Canberra, and Geelong?" And before you know it, we're in Auckland.
That's it. Yeah. So Jim's Car Detailing available in Auckland. I remember I've interviewed one of the franchisees there as well a couple of years ago. I was going to say as well the training component. So you've got a really good, I think, new training facility set up for it. Maybe just talk through the training because a lot of people might be going, "I like the sounds of this, but I've got no idea about can I actually do the work or not." So do you want to just walk someone through the process?
Yes. So the training, there's 2 components. So we have the business training where they come to Jim's headquarters here in Mooroolbark and do, go through the business side of the things. But after that, we have what we call on-tool training for 3 days. And that pretty much covers pretty much all the basics of the detailing. So from how to steam or shampoo the seats and the carpet, cut and polish, headlight restoration, and the different ways of washing cars. And so we go through that in detail, where the franchisees put their gloves on and gets their hands dirty and actually wash and detail some cars. So that goes for 3 days. And after that, we'll actually send them out on the road with an existing franchisee as well, just to make sure that they understand being at a real customer's house and what to do and what not to do as well. And now we're building a second stage, phase 2, where after 3 months or 6 months of training, they can come back and do the ceramic coating training. So the ceramic coating training is a bit more intense, and we'd like for them to go out and get some experience first. So when they do come back, they'll come back with a lot more questions, and they'll be a lot more comfortable as well doing it.
And do you want to talk about the not only the training but the pay for work guarantee as well? So obviously a lot of people don't need the pay for work guarantee because the work's there, but it's one of those things where people like knowing that it's there. So do you want to explain for people, let's say, how much it is in the division and also how it operates?
Yep. So pay for work guarantee in car detailing varies from $1,500 to $2,000 a week. As you mentioned, it's rare for franchisees to make below that, and when they do, there's been some cases where, for whatever reason, they fell short, and we've paid it by, doing free services. But ideally, what we want to see is building up their regular customers, and making a lot more than the paperwork guarantee week in, week out, and have that consistent business. So yes, we do get a lot of full details, ultimate details, ceramic coatings, which are great. But we always recommend to have your 60% and 70% of your business with your regulars. So therefore, you're going to make more than the guarantee week in, week out. And I always say this to our franchisees, our training, I have never seen a franchisee fail if they get 2 things right, which is customer service and paperwork guarantee.
And with the regular intervals, what's it generally in car detailing? Is it every month or is it every 2 weeks?
The most common regular interval for most customers is fortnightly.
Yeah.
We do have weekly customers, fortnightly or monthly, or sometimes it could be even bi-monthly, but most common is fortnight.
I was going to say as well with the business itself. Do you have any franchisees who have any teams or anything, or have they tried to grow a big business? Or
yes, we have several franchisees with with different crews. So they invest in a second vehicle or a third vehicle. So we have a franchisee, Kushal, in Sydney. I'm just thinking he has a crew. He's been around for over 10 years now, but he has, again, he doesn't even take leads, but he has 3 or 4 crews that's constantly doing regular customers for him.
Now that's a great little thing you mentioned about. He doesn't take leads, but he's been with us for 10 years. Why do you think people stay with gyms, even if they're not taking the work? What do you think it is?
Good question. It's the value, the brand, and a lot of those customers actually he did pick up as a lead, and he's done a great job, and he kept them as regulars. But if you look at his trend, there might be a couple of drop-offs every year, and he just quickly puts himself back on leads, quickly replaces those customers that, for whatever reason, that moved on, and he's off leads again. So he's not always off leads.
Yeah. But when he needs to,
just switch it on. Yeah. And when I do have a chat to him, he said there's no other business that he knows that he can just simply press a button and switch on the leads and switch off again. And that works quite well for him.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Ali's referring to Gyms Online. So Gyms Online is a system where they can put themselves for when they want to work, when they want to take leads, areas they want to take leads, all that sort of stuff. So it's a really good system we have. And as you said, there's no need to go to an agency or nothing like that. They just go into the Gyms Online, put themselves down, and away they go.
Exactly.
Now, how many leads roughly, or unserviced leads as well, is there in the group for car detailing a year?
Per year.
Yeah, I'm throwing a number.
Thousands.
Thousands. I'm just trying to point out how much work there is available for people.
We're averaging.
Maybe unserviced leads were more than 20 or around 15 or something. Or
look, definitely over 10,000.
Yeah.
There's more than 1,000 unserviced leads a month. So.
Oh, really? So definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So thousands.
And which areas are they more in? Is there any more states?
It's nationally.
Nationally.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Queensland is probably the biggest one. Victoria's is high level. New South Wales, and obviously in some regional areas as well. But if we look at the unserviced, it is everywhere.
Because it might sound counterintuitive to people who be going, geez, there's 200 plus car detailing franchisees, yet there's all this unserviced work. So obviously driving around doing a good job, people having a full book where they don't need to take work, all contributes to it.
100%. So, and again, car detailing is one of those divisions where you can build up your regulars. Yep. So not every franchisee is down for leads. And on average, I'll say 40 to 50% of franchisees are constantly off leads because they're just simply completely booked out.
Yeah, I was going to say as well then the support side of it. So do you want to outline what's support in place for franchisees? And let's say the franchisee for 10 years, they're obviously getting value from fees in other areas besides the Gyms Online. So do you want to just outline for people what else do they get?
So for franchisees, the support they get is obviously we have a team meeting where we meet on a regular basis. We have workshops where they can get those additional training for ceramic coating and headlight restoration or paint correction or those additional things. And what we found that works the best is we have like a WhatsApp groups in each region where franchisees can pass work to each other, or when they come up with a problem, it could be anything from a stain or faded paint job, and they can ask questions take photos and say, well, need help, what do I do now? And that not just for new franchisees, but the existing franchisees, actually the senior franchisees, get involved and they start giving them advice, and before you know it, there's hundreds of messages there saying you should do this and you should do that, but it works quite well.
Yeah, it's something that's it's been an accidental thing, the groups like with messenger groups or WhatsApp groups, but I sort of think of it's like a paid community. So a lot of people will pay to be in a paid community for mentorship or something like that, whereas with gyms we've sort of always had it, and now we've got
so in each group we have our franchise or the support person in that group. We have our trainer in that group where when they come to training, where they do the 3 days. Most of the time, before the franchise or the support person or the trainer can respond, there's other franchisees responding, saying, try this, I bought this product, or go and get this, and it works quite well. And within our industry, there's always new products and there's new equipment, there's things that makes, if you look at what we're doing 5 years ago, our starter pack from 5 years ago to now, it's completely different because the technology, advanced technology, and there's even the buffers, there's a lot more tools that we can use now than what it was 5 years ago. So being part of the group, you also have access to all these new tools, equipment, and and obviously better deals with our suppliers as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah, obviously better deals for you guys, what you put together for them. And I was going to say, what's in the startup pack then? So just out of interest, let's say franchisee was interested to obviously do their observation day. They become, book in and get the agreement, all that sort of stuff. They got their vehicle signed, but what's in the actual startup pack itself?
Yep. So the actual equipment starter pack is they get a commercial pressure cleaner, a shampoo unit, a vacuum. They get a steamer. So they get the full Naziol range with the products from cleaning the wheels, the glass, the inside, the leather. We also obviously the cutting compounds and the polishing compounds as well. The buffer. On top of that, you get the stationery package, which includes your business cards, flyers, and invoice books. Pretty much the full works, everything that you need except for the vehicle.
Yeah, exactly right. So everything you need to do to get going. And I was going to say as well, from your years of experience with it, what type of person makes a good franchisee? So let's say, what are the ones who are really successful? What's some common things they have about them?
Eye for detail. So you need to make sure you do a good job. And car detail is one of those things you can do a really good job in one area and you miss a tire, you miss something inside, and it could really. We always say, pay special attention where the driver's sitting with the steering wheel and the windscreen, because you can really do a good job and miss one little item and it just doesn't have the same experience. So you need to have eye for detail, and you need to have the drive to self-motivate. I always say, if you enjoy cars and working outdoors, turn your passion to profits.
And some nice words there as well. You said drive to succeed for car detailing. You said eye for detailing. So it's a good one there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say as well. So for transparency, rather, so it's just all about how good everything is. Franchisees who don't succeed, what are maybe some common reasons why franchisees don't maybe get the best experience out of being a franchisee?
Unfortunately, it does happen. And we make sure that that's as minimum as possible. But a common trend is poor customer service plays a big part. Where if they're constantly not just getting complaints, but I was speaking to a franchisee who's been with us for 3 years, received over 1,200 leads, and doesn't have any regulars.
Yeah.
Like if I tried not to have regulars, I would have regulars. So obviously there's a problem somewhere along the line, and we're trying to find out what that problem early in the day, and we've actually helped and turn things around for a lot of franchisees. But it all goes back to customer service. So if you're failing at customer service, or if you don't enjoy what you do, that reflects on you need to. I always say this: from one customer, you want to get 2 more referrals, not just that lead, but turn that customer into a regular. I always say concentrate on the 3 R's, which is repeats, regulars, and referrals. And a common question that I ask at training is, think of a business that can actually survive without repeats, regulars, or referrals. And the answer is none. Like I've never had anyone. Actually, I had one franchisee said funeral services. So hopefully you won't get repeats, but you probably still need referrals as well.
True.
But,
well, you would need referrals for that, absolutely.
Yeah. So every business that I know of needs repeats, referrals, and regulars. So as a franchisee, that's what you need to focus on. If you fail with the 3 R's, you're making it very hard for yourself, because you're just going to constantly rely on leads.
Now, I've seen some things online, like there's obviously a lot of incorrect information about gyms, and I had a look at the other day at a few things, and we tried to do some videos to correct these things, but they just get out there. Now, independent versus doing a gym's franchise, right? So people just think, all right, cool, do $50 a week on Facebook ads, and you don't need gyms, you'll get all your customers, and away you go. So independent route versus the gym's route. Maybe do you want to outline the reality for someone off the independent route compared to going with us?
Yes, so I hear, so a lot of the advertising that we do, especially on social media, we get to see some of these comments as well. And it's funny that those people that normally comment don't have successful businesses. Where if you just look at the data that's available online, 95% of our franchisees succeed within their first 12 months, where 95% of businesses that registered for ABN failed within their first 12 months with other businesses which are non-gyms. So that the data speaks for itself. But when it comes to advertising, it's not as simple as I'm going to put an ad on Facebook, spend $50, $100, whatever it is, and I'm going to get 10 leads. It doesn't work that way. There's been many cases where we spent thousands of dollars with no return. and we just change the ad and spend more and generate more leads, where we have that power because we have the resources behind us. Like I said earlier, we have the website, we have the Facebook page with over 20,000 followers. Our website gets over 80, I think last time I checked was 85,000 organic people every month. So these are the things that you're competing against. And when people do call gyms, they know gyms. It's not the first time that they're seeing the brand. They know the brand. It's similar to going to a McDonald's or Woolworths or any other big a big business where you trust the brand and you know there's national backup. You know, having a car is probably the second most expensive asset that you have, and to give your keys of a car to someone that you don't know, that's not police checked, that's not insured, that doesn't have the national backup.
Doesn't rock up in a uniform, like even a uniform for one thing. But I was going to say, because the reason why I asked you that question, because a lot of the times people go for advice online, unfortunately, to forums about becoming a franchisee rather than actually inquiring and calling. And I'm hoping they don't get put off by.
Obviously, there are a lot of great independent car detailers out there, and that's great. You know, we know franchise is not suitable for everyone, but if you're starting a brand new business and if it's something new for you, it's a good idea to look at your options and the money that you're going to waste on advertising, getting it wrong, because we've got it wrong too. And we've done that. We know what works. We know what doesn't. We know the ins and outs, and we know our limits. Where if I started this again, 10 years ago, I'll have to go through the same mistakes that I did in the last 10 years.
I think just even from the lead gen side, the monthly franchise fee, when you break it down compared to what you'd have to do to generate same amount of leads and quality of leads as an independent, it's such a far better deal, just even from the marketing component alone, because the monthly marketing fee is like $180 or $200.
It's about $250.
$250 a month.
Yeah.
And you generate some, a lot of high quality leads for that. You could not do that as an independent with $250 a month.
No.
And you've then, if you're as an independent, you'd have to get an agency involved, and there's charges with that. You have to do website, all this sort of stuff. Whereas you guys handle it all.
And the example I gave earlier with one of our Sydney franchisees, like you said, you can push of a button, you can turn on your leads, and you can turn off your leads as well. And that works well for
I think people.
most of our franchisees.
I think people underestimate, or people who've got no idea about the system and just write things. They've got no idea. You know how hard it is with lead gen. Like things are always changing.
Yes.
Different methods work, and it's becoming more expensive all the time every year. And people who've got no idea about doing the business at all think generating a lead, $5, $10, and everyone's going to convert. So I think there's a lot of incorrect information about it.
And like you said, what we did on Facebook last year doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to work now, and it doesn't. They've changed a lot of their features. They changed the way they do things, and we keep changing with that as well. So when I first started. We started a full page ad in Yellow Pages. That shows how far I've been in the business for. But I remember putting $65,000 in Yellow Pages for a full page ad.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's long gone now. But then Google kicked in, then Facebook kicked in, then Instagram, then TikTok, and 5 years later, we'll probably talk about something else.
It will be something else, and that's the thing. Whereas if you're a business owner, you've got enough to worry about, and you don't have to worry about all that sort of stuff. So. As like the fees itself is another thing. So I'll just clarify that, because there's obviously a lot of incorrect information with fees, and they think you guys take 50% or we take 40%. Jim wishes, or Practice Halls wish it's that much. But maybe you want to just clarify, what is the actual fees for the division?
So great question. So the total fees, including the advertising and so what I like to give is a total figure, so it makes more sense for the franchisee. So it's about $850. That covers your advertising, your call center fee, your admin fees, your technology fee, and everything else that it's included. The only thing that you pay on top of that is your leads. And obviously that's optional. So that's about $18 per lead. It could be a $100 job. It could be a $1,000 job. It could be ongoing, it could, like the Bunnings example that I gave earlier, it could be a $10,000 job for the year. You still only paid that $18. And it's only for new leads. So what that means is if a customer calls for the second time, even if they lose your contact details, they call the call center for the second time, for the third time, for the 10th time, we send that lead back to the franchisee, obviously at no cost. And any work they get themselves, there's no lead fee for it.
I was going to say as well, for the lead fee as well, it's there to obviously improve customer service as well. Because a lot of people think it's just a money-making thing, which it's not. It's there to help improve customer service so that when the franchisee gets it, they're going to obviously try and do their best to win it.
That's right. So when there's a value to the lead, we found that that increased the conversion rate of the leads as well, because when it's costing the franchisee, they want to make sure that you convert that lead. And we know you're not going to convert every single lead. For that reason, we actually give you a 15% discount on leads. Ideally, if you're converting at 85%, which what I believe is a perfect ratio to be in, you're not paying for any leads that you couldn't convert as well. So, and a lot of franchisees, fall between 70 to 90% mark. So if you're in that category, you're in a good spot for conversion as well.
Yeah, if you compare that to an independent, let's say if you're generating leads in an independent, there's no way you're getting that conversion rate, regardless of even how quick you call. I think the customers who call the gym's call center as well, they're already calling so they know it's a quality service, and they're expecting to use the gym's franchisee as well, which I think people don't take into account with what we do. I was going to say as well, just even like the fee, what you said, $8.50 a month, like that is a really, really, really cheap when we know how hard it is to generate just a quality lead online with online advertising. If you're an independent, you have to do website, you have to make sure you're getting reviews to your Google business profile, you have to do SEO on the website alone. Good SEO is not cheap. You have to do social media, you have to do all these things, which alone is far more than $850 a month. Because I always want to bring that up because I was going through some comments and some forums and things like that, and I see it a bit when people are looking to buy a franchise, and
how people
get all these people come on, and it really annoys me because we know it's not the truth, which is why we do this sort of stuff. But
and on that note, we have a separate advertising fund.
Yes,
where that $200.50 out of the $850, $250 goes into the advertising fund. But I can tell you, almost in every region, we actually spend a lot more than what we receive.
Yep. That's a great point, because that's a really good point, because I think gyms is unique like that. I would, without knowing exactly what other franchise brands, I would not think they would do that. Whereas with gyms, it's quite common. If the franchisors have to generate more and put more money beyond what they're getting from franchisees, we have to do it.
Like just in Melbourne, for example, this year we spent additional $180,000 than what we've collected.
Yeah.
And that's... Now, we didn't have to do that,
but that's a great point.
We've only done that to make sure there's enough work for franchisees.
Yeah, that's a great point. I want to point that out, especially, because you collect that advertising contribution, that's technically all you have to spend, but you've gone and spent more than $180,000 out of your own money to make sure franchisees are supported and have enough work.
Exactly.
I think that's a really, really unique part, and that's a really important part of the gym system as well. I was going to say then, just that it's probably not related to this, but why do you think people say so much wrong stuff about the gym system online? Because I read them, I'm going, that is just literally a flat out lie, or there's no way you had 3 friends who failed in the gyms. There's no way. Like, it's literally, from what I know, impossible. So why do you think people do it?
Funny you actually bring this up. I've actually, in the early days, I used to lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
I used to message them privately saying, can you tell me more? Who, your friend that failed, or your friend that went financially bankrupt because we took all his house. And
another ones.
Most of the time they don't respond. But I can't point a finger at them. They're just keyboard warriors. That's
it's quite frustrating because
it's just have the wrong perception, and all. Just I don't know if they're doing it to get more likes or more followers. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's quite funny because the reason why I raise it because someone's going for advice about a gym's franchise on a forum, and it's annoying because what they should be doing is going and calling 131 and obviously speaking with the franchise.
You don't have to, just because you called the number, you don't have to buy anything from us. No. And we never actually sell a franchise like a salesperson. We go through what the franchise is and what their offer is, and we leave it at that. It's up to the franchise or to the person to become a franchisee or not. We would never take anyone on board if they're not 100% committed.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about them actually buying a franchise. We need to make sure we're comfortable with them representing our brand.
Absolutely. And also there's 3,000 videos, so just watch the 3,000. There's a lot of videos. I've got them in training. I have everyone here going, watch 30, 40 videos before inquiring and stuff. Just watch the videos. They're all on it. It's a bit, it's quite odd. It's an interesting thing that I've noticed with gyms, and I'm the same as you. I get a little bit worked up, and you sort of just do, at the end, you sort of just think they're just doing it a little bit to get some more likes or followers or just some clout because it's the gym's brand. But anyone who's thinking about it, don't go to a forum. Just call up and watch the videos, podcasts, all that sort of thing. And
speak to the franchisees.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
Now don't listen to me or Joel or Jim.
Yeah.
Speak to the franchisees and and they'll tell you straight out what things they like and what things if there's things that they don't enjoy. They're the people that you want to speak to.
Absolutely. And we want you to do as much research as possible. We know the best franchisees will watch 30 videos and they'll call 10 franchisees. Then they'll do an observation day. Then they'll have a lot of questions for the franchisor. Then they'll come to training, and that's generally the best people that we want who know everything about it. I guess it's actually a concern when I ask people in my session, I go, who here's watched the video here before coming to training? Everyone put their hand up, but there's one or two who don't. I think that's not a good sign. So
that's right.
Yeah, we've got everything there.
Yeah.
But with car detailing as well, what are some maybe good franchisee stories? Maybe someone who's coming in, like this is their last hope and this is all their last money and they've made a success of it. Is there anyone who comes to mind?
There's a lot of examples. We have a franchisee in Sydney, Steve, in Parramatta, who's started in the early days. It was probably, I think it was our first franchisee, or first or second franchisee in Sydney.
Oh, wow.
And he's still with us, and he actually built his life. And it's not just financially, but the lifestyle as well. And it was his 50th birthday, he invited us to Sydney. We just couldn't make it last week. And every time I speak to him, he just tells me that gym has actually changed his life, and how much, every day he actually thanks that he's made the right decision.
Now, for him, is it just because he's got more family time, more money?
He's got kids, obviously. Yeah. He can spend more time with his kids. He has employees. He's got a few good contracts that he works with, and it works really well for him. And a lot of our franchisees, obviously, financial is very important. They make a great income, but a common feedback that I get is the lifestyle, where they love what they do. Going out there, like examples we gave earlier, it's not just about cars. I get photo messages on my phone, a franchisee with a helicopter, a franchisee with a boat, a franchisee with a big crane that is detailing, and the joy they get from that is unbelievable. It's just
and you can see what you're doing and the result in real time. If you're in a corporate world like I am, you might not see
the results straight away.
Exactly.
But, you do a cut and polish, you see the results straight away, and the customer comes out, it's like, wow.
Yes.
And that's a great motivation for the franchisees. And if we look at our reviews online, I'm waiting to hit 10,000 five-star reviews. We're on 9,000. I think it's 500 at the moment, but so we're planning a big party for that. But nearly 10,000 reviews online. It's just amazing.
Now, is that on the product review, is it?
That's on
and that
product
doesn't include the gym surveys, so people should know that's the online product
That's
review.
only for the customers that actually went out and left a review on product review.
Yeah, but we had the gym surveys, which probably have a lot more stars internally.
It's a lot more. Yeah.
That's a really good achievement. Because I was going to say, it's a great one, Cardi thing, because you buy yourself as well. Like if you can be pretty. You buy yourself if you come from a corporate world. Let's say you're a lot of ex-corporates I know join car detailing. You're sick of dealing with politics and all that sort of stuff.
You don't have a boss to answer to, and
no boss. Yeah,
and just a lot of them put their earphones on and put some music on and out there buffing a car or detailing a car, and it's a great way of especially if you like working outdoors, meeting new people. It's a great little business.
And what type of people's background are coming to you? So I've met a few corporates through training come here. Is it just a large range of people?
It's a huge range. Yeah. It's hard to. I always say there's always a chef in the group. For some reason, but we've had truck drivers. We've had lawyer. We've got a lawyer in our group, and it just surprised me. Why would you buy it? Because you want to be a car detailing franchisee when you studied for so many years and became a lawyer. He said. His exact words was he became a lawyer for his parents, and this is what he loves doing. And obviously, he probably doesn't make as much as when he was a lawyer, but he loves what he does now. So we have teachers, we have ex-pilot, where the range is huge. So it's hard to point a finger, but there's always a chef in the group.
I was going to say as well, age range. I remember met Craig and Fiona, a bit older as well. I think it's a good one. You can go from maybe early 20s up to probably your 60s or even a little bit older than that.
So our youngest franchisee is actually 19 years old.
19, yeah.
We do have actually he just retired a couple of months ago. We had Ian from Queensland who was mid-70s.
Really?
And again, he actually ended up buying the franchise after it was, I think it was maybe 68 or 69.
Oh, really?
So,
wow,
so he bought it at a very late stage, and it was like a semi-retirement for him. And again, he loved what he did, and he doing really well.
There's not many businesses where you can do that, where you can buy it at, let's say, late 60s and, make a great income and then, enjoy what you do, meet people, keep you active, and you just can't do that in many other businesses.
Yeah, that's obviously the gym system gives that opportunity as long as you're fit enough to do the work and you're motivated. I say, why not?
Absolutely. And I was going to say as well, where's the growth in the division, you think, as well? Because is there any women franchisees in car detailing? So I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
We do have a few female franchisees, not a lot, but probably a handful. We do have a lot of husband and wife teams, like
Craig and Fiona,
so they work quite well. In Perth, we have a few franchisees where they have female employees, crews, and that works quite well as well. So really, it's even though a lot of our franchisees are male,
husband and wife teams,
teams, and it works for both.
I think it's a great opportunity. I think just in gyms overall, we're trying to, a lot of the more, let's say, I don't think car detailing is a blokey division, but let's say mowing, for example, we want to get more. I think it's a great opportunity for women to get involved and do a small business, and might not be something they think of initially, but there's a lot of work there. It's a great business.
Yeah, and it's not that physical because sometimes franchisees think it's too physical. Obviously, your first couple of weeks, I always say you're using muscles that you haven't used before. But once you get into it, it's every day. You can easily detail a couple of cars and make a great income.
And I was going to say then as well, with the franchise, what's the best thing for someone to do? We've obviously spoken about it a little bit, but is it just literally just call the call center 131546?
Call the call center 131546. They'll refer you to the local area manager, franchisor we call them, and they'll contact you and send you some information. And ideally, go in on a trial with an existing franchisee, and we want to make sure that you're going to enjoy what you do. So, ask a lot of questions, and if it's for you, next step will meet you in Mooroolbark.
Now, how do you manage your time? Because you obviously got heaps of things going on. So you got the CEO, you got your own family, and you've got car detailing and other divisions. So how do you manage your own time?
I struggle, but saying that, I do have great people around me. So over the last 12 months, we've actually changed our business model from me doing everything to having the right people around me, and we've got a great team of support people. We have a great team of salespeople, and it works quite well for us.
And what do you love about being a part of gyms?
The success stories. Especially when we hear franchisees we came in and bought this franchise, pretty much put their life savings. If your $30,000 may not sound like much for some people, but for certain people it's all they have. And hearing the success stories after a year or 2 years or 3 years, and buying properties and buying their first home because of the gym's business, that's probably the best part of my business.
And it's quite a common theme. I've asked that question a bit, and every franchisor, without knowing anyone else's answers, pretty much says the same thing. I love hearing that. Yep. So, Ali, thank you very much for your time today.
Joel.
So, car detailing's 200 plus franchisees, rapidly growing, plenty of work. If you're interested, please go to call 131546 or head to the Gym's Car Detailing website and inquire, the Gym's Cleaning Group website to inquire, and do an observation day, and hopefully we can be interviewing you for your franchisee story later on.